But just yesterday, he was very critical of Minnesota and Somali Minnesotans, and he said he has won the election in Minnesota 3 times, and the state hasn't given it to him. Is he just dead wrong on that?
You know, I look at whether it is an endorsement from President Trump or not, I'm looking at what is the best for Minnesota. And I've got that proven leadership. I reduced spending in 25 with my leadership and working with the legislature and really brought forward some good things for Minnesota. That is where I'm focused for November.
But is he wrong about the Minnesota elections?
I think the results are the results, and we've seen what those are.
The report mentions several different surveys. How can the city verify the information provided in those surveys?
These, for the most part, have been conservative figures.
Are you concerned that if your constituents look at you wanting to give $100,000 a year to the cemetery, which by your own admission does not have a functional organization behind it, that's a problem?
Oh, absolutely.
What would you say to the law enforcement officers out there that are saying, we kind of wanted to keep this tool?
I know that is hard too, because the police are a community, and I work, with our chief, and I know it was a good tool.
We wanted to know from the government how long the process should take and how payouts were prioritized. But we were told they could not answer our questions by our deadline.
Yeah, Kevin, pretend you're sitting at your kitchen table, you're going over your bills, and you get one of these. It's called a special assessment. Now, this is a copy of one that a woman shared with us. Her bill about $6,000, but help may be on the way.
Tonight, Renee Cooper is working to hold party leaders accountable. Renee. Yeah, Lindsay, if you're looking at this chart here as a scoreboard, then it's a losing game for the majority of Minnesota voters. Now, on the board here, 0 is the most Republican possible, and then on the other side here, 100 is the most Democratic, meaning 50 is right in the center. Now, the average Minnesota voter, the majority, sits closest to that at 60. And what's made clear right here in the numbers is both the Minnesota Republican and DFL parties are pretty far off.
Addressing it, calling it into dispatch, so those calls for service number increasing isn't a bad thing. It's more proactive policing work.
So right now we are on the Green Line. This is Metro Transit's most used rail line. But later this summer, the Green and the Blue Line won't be running. There will be replacement buses for riders. So we asked the chief how they're preparing for bigger crowds and more pressure on the bus system.
We wanted to see just how many people had stories like Daniel's. So we headed out into the community to talk to other business owners in some of the hardest hit areas of town. Like many of the businesses that we've stopped at, this one, the owners did not want to appear on camera because they're worried about retaliation from ICE. One business told us the last time they were in a news story, they ended up getting subpoenaed.
We reached out to every board member to be part of this story, including with an interview, but did not hear back. In just the last 15 minutes, I did hear back from the superintendent with a lengthy comment. We are going to be including that on this online story. We'll also include the full investigative report, again, nearly 80 pages, and a link to that full video to hear all the comments.
It was 1 year ago, June 14, 2025, when Minnesota House Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark were shot and killed in an act of political violence that shocked the state and much of the nation.
Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette were also injured during the attack in their home, but survived. As Minnesota pays tribute tonight, we have team coverage looking at the Hortmans as they're being remembered and how the couple continues making a lasting impact on the state.
$700 million in economic damage. That is the new estimate from the city of Minneapolis on the cost of Operation Metro Surge. This includes $444 million in lost profits and $152 million in lost wages.
And once again, that's an underestimate. We are closer to $1 billion than we are to 1 million.
But that massive price tag has some skeptical, so we are digging into this big story. Ryan Raish pressing on how the city got this estimate.
Let's start, though, with Pilar Pedraza, who spent the day with small business owners really caught in the middle of this federal activity.
We begin in South Minneapolis right now with breaking news here at 4:30. MPD, along with county and federal law enforcement, are on the scene of this hours-long standoff with an armed suspect where he has been firing at officers.
And we have team coverage for you of the situation. We've been tracking it all day. Let's start with our reporter Harrison Klopp out there with new information just in. Harrison.
But the final version of the budget brings about 100 of those people back. That's because the total deficit the Minneapolis School Board is trying to fix got a little bit smaller. It dropped from over $50 million to just $37 million when the district discovered that for several years it had missed out on major special education funding.
Potential for some 60-mile-per-hour winds and 1-inch diameter hail. That's moving through parts of Beltrami and Clearwater and Hubbard counties at the moment. Some pretty intense hail with this. Was previously a little bit larger, headed towards the Bemidji area, probably there within the next 5 minutes or so, but it looks like it is starting to scale down a bit.